Hello, every student in third class CS. Welcome to our new courses, Visual Programming by using C Sharp. Visual Programming by using C Sharp. The credit hours of this course is 3 hours. Okay. In the first part, I will discuss the course overview. This will include the course description and the course objective and the course outcome and the content of this course. Okay, to be familiar for what you will study, visual programming by using C Sharp. This course provides an introduction to visual programming. Okay, so what do you mean by the visual programming? By using what? By using C Sharp language. Why we use C Sharp language? Because C Sharp is a modern language, object-oriented programming language. As you study in the second class, or I think in the third class in semester 1, the object-oriented programming language, C Sharp is a modern language for the object-oriented programming language. So we need to study the visual programming by using C Sharp. We need to study the C Sharp. How can I use the C Sharp for visual programming? Okay. So in this course, you will create and designing and implementation the project by using C Sharp. Okay, by using C Sharp. The objective of this course is to give students basic information about the visual programming concept. What the visual programming, the word visual, the term visual, how to create graphical user interface by using C Sharp. Okay, the outcome of this course will understanding the basic concept of visual programming in the .NET framework. Okay, the .NET framework and environment of C Sharp. Understand the variable and data type in C Sharp language. Okay, handling the exception. Okay, the error, how to handling the error, how to create and compile and run object-oriented programming C Sharp. كيف نحن نقدر نعمل create compile ورن by using C Sharp. How to write desktop application. Okay, we have by using the form. We have web application, web-based application. We have web-based application when we need to create web-based application by using HTML, cascade style sheet, PHP. Okay, we have to create Windows application, our desktop application by using C Sharp. Okay, design and build and execute. Okay, we have using the graphical user interface. Okay, so the content of this course is this week or this lecture. We will try to cover the course overview. What is a computer program? What do you mean by the computer programming? And level of programming language. What is a visual programming? What do you mean by the visual programming? What is .NET framework? What is inside the .NET framework? What is the difference between FCI, CL, and CLR? Common language runtime. Okay, and framework class library. What is the difference between these? Okay, what is the Visual Studio? The benefit of Visual Studio, it is very easy to use the Visual Studio, and it is included more language in Visual Studio. Okay, how to compile and run and debug the Visual Studio in console application. Okay, this is in this week. In the coming week, we have to show you how to bring to the console, how to bring string name number. Okay, this is the week number 2, and week number 3 we have to show the primitive data type, integer, Boolean, characteristic, object, all the primitive data type in the C Sharp. Okay, we have to study the loop. What is the loop in C Sharp? Okay, an array, week number 7. Okay, week number 8, method. We speak about the method and we speak about list combo books. Okay, so we will try to be compiled then between the using C Sharp, the fundamental of C Sharp language like the variable, data type, method, for loop, and we have to create Windows form. Okay, Windows form. Okay, lecture number 2, how to connect with the database. Okay, how to connect with the database We also have introduction to using ASP.NET. Okay. Assessment of this course, as you see, assessment, we have practical examination, and we have the final examination. Here we have the project. I focusing on the project in this course. Okay, you will do the project in this course. Okay, I don't no problem if you are individual of 3 students, not more than 3 students. You can make the project. Okay, here is a reference and student with disabilities. Okay, so this is the course overview. Okay, visual programming by using C#. Okay, visual programming by using C#. Now to try to cover to the next part of these lectures. Visual programming by using C#. Okay. In this lecture, also we'll try to cover what the computer programming level or level of programming language. What is the visual programming? What is inside .NET framework? What inside .NET? What is a Visual Studio? A benefit of Visual Studio? How to compile and run and debug the visual program. Okay. After you cover, after you complete this lecture, student will be able to define the computing programming, list step of programming phases, and understand the basic concept of visual programming, classify inside the .NET framework. Okay, differentiate between FCL and CLR. Okay, we'll try to cover all this. What is a computer programming? Okay, what is a computer programming? As you are a student of the 3rd class, you know what do you mean by the computer programming. What do you mean by the computer programming? Okay, computer programming is a creating of sequence of instruction to enable the computer to do something. Okay, this we call computer programming. When you create sequence of instruction, writing a code, this code enable computer to do something, we call this computer programming. When you write your code to ask computer to do something by using this code, okay, we call this computer programming. So what is the programming phases? If you need programming, from where did you start? Is actually go to write the code firstly? No. The first thing, you must define the task or the problem. What try to solve? Okay, we call this specifications. After you define the task or problem, you will go to plan your solutions. Find suitable algorithm to solve it and find suitable data structure to use it. We call the design. The first thing, specification. The second thing, you design. The third thing is implementation. This is write the code. Okay, after you complete your code, you try to fix the error. Fix the error, we call this the bugs. When you try to fix the error, we call this testing and debugging. Okay? The last thing, you try to deployment. Make your customer happy. This is the last step. So, the step of the programming phases. Number 1, specifications. Specification, we mean to define the task and problem that you need to solve. You must define what's the problem, what I try to solve. Okay, the second thing is the design. After you define the task or problem, you planning to your solution. What's the best algorithm that I must need? What's the best data structure that I need to use? Okay, we call this the design. The third thing is the implementation, and after your implementation, you make the testing and debugging. The last thing is deployment. Deployment, what do you mean by the deployment? You make your customer very happy. You finish the project and give this project to the customer and make your customer very happy. We call this employment. Okay, so this is the phases of the programming. So first we define what is the program. The program, how to create, when you create a sequence of instruction to enable computer to do something, we call this program. This is the phases of programming. So what is the visual programming? Our course, visual programming by using C#. So what do you mean by the visual programming? Visual programming is a programming language that allow you to program in Windows environment. Okay? We have web environment, Windows environment, desktop application. Okay? By using, this is called web environment, and we have web environment, web application, and we have Windows application, Windows environment. Web application, in the Internet Technology course, we mean HTML, basket style sheet, JavaScript, PHP. But Windows environment by using C# also, or by using the Visual Basic. Okay? Visual programming, you create form with the several objects. Okay? Create form with the several objects and set the property of this object. You write event handle response to the user email. Okay? So visual programming is a language that allows you to program in Windows environment to create form with the several object. Okay? The word visual, the word or the term visual refer to the method that used to create the graphical user interface. Visual programming. What's the message that used to create the graphical user interface? Graphical user interface. Visual programming. Graphical user interface. Simply drag and drop object into place on the screen. When you install the Visual Studio, okay, and you open the C#, you know how to simply drag and drop object. We call this object, okay? We call this object into place on the screen without having to learn additional soft package, okay? It is easy language, okay? You don't need more coding, okay? You just drag and drop, okay? When you need to create a button, you just do drag and drop the button. Not write the code to create a button like other language. So we call this visual programming language. The method to create graphical user interface. Okay? So number one, what do you by the computer programming language? Number two, what is the visual programming language? Visual programming language is the method that used to create graphical user interface. Okay? The word visual, the term visual. Okay? So what is the .NET framework? C#, the .NET framework. So what do you by the .NET framework? Microsoft .NET framework. Okay? What is the .NET framework? This is the environment for execute .NET programs. هي عبارة عن بيئة بنستخدمها عشان ما نعمل execute ل.NET program تابع للشركة بتاعت مايكروسوفت. إذا هي environment بنستخدمها for the execute .NET programs. We call it .NET framework. هنشوف environment what inside .NET framework. The powerful library of classes included many classes, many functionalities that we use to execute the program, like C#, hashou, other programming. But as a simple way, .NET framework, it is an environment. What do you mean by the environment to execute .NET programs? Okay? Powerful library of classes already created. Just we use this class, we use this library to do something, okay, as you developer or programmer, okay? Programming language like what? Like C#, like Visual Basic .NET, okay? Like C++, and any more other programming that inside .NET framework. Okay? Okay, student? .NET frame, so the .NET frame is an environment for executing, okay? So, what inside this framework? What inside .NET framework? We have two things. We have F, CL, and CLR. Okay, here we have your operating systems. Here we have C CLR, Common Language Runtime. Common Language Runtime, and we have the framework here. Okay, here we have the language that inside .NET framework like C#, C++, Visual Basic .NET, G#, F#, script. Yes. Okay, we have here ASP.NET. We use it when we need to create web form, Ajax. Okay, mobile internet. We have Windows Phone. We have the platform WFB and several like platform. Okay, this is the two platform. Okay, we have here the communication of, and we have here Adobe.NET. Okay, this is inside the .NET framework. Okay, so we have to CLR. This is the heart of .NET framework. The heart of the .NET framework. We call it the Common Language Runtime. What do you mean by the CLR? Common Language stands for Common Language Runtime. This is manage the execution environment. Okay, manage execution environment. Okay, this is the environment that manages execution. Okay, execute .NET application, controls the execution process, automatic memory management. Okay, is responsible for memory management, also responsible for manage and execution environment. The application, we have many applications by using .NET framework. What is the environment that responsible to execute this application is the CLR. Programming Language Integration. Okay, integrated type has that more safety and security. We call it Common Language Runtime. We have two goals: manage execute of the application that run with the .NET framework, make control of the execution process, automatic memory management. Okay. Number two, we have the framework class library, FCL. We have common language. We have common language runtime, CLR, common language runtime, and we have framework class library. Okay, this is the actual library created. Okay, ready library that we use it when you need to make something, provided basic functionality to the developer. Okay, when you need as a developer, this is the ready library. يعني library أو مكاتب جاهزة. أنت as a developer بس بتعمل لها استدعاء. Okay, فيها الكود. We don't need to write the code. Okay, جاهزة جدا أنت بتعمل لها. بنقول على الفريم كلاس library. فيها الكونسول application. فيها الويندوز برزنتيشن فورم، فيها السيرفرات. اوكي، فيها الويندوز فورم جرافيك يوزر انترفيس ابلكيشن، فيها الويب ابلكيشن دايناميك. اوكي، so we have framework class library. This is an actual library, ready library used by the developer. Okay, and we have common language runtime. This is responsible for the execute or manage the applications that run in the inside .NET. Okay, so what is a Visual Studio? Microsoft Visual Studio. Visual Studio is an integrated development environment, IDE, integrated development environment, development tool that help us to write code, design user interface, compile code, execute, browse the Visual Studio. إذا هي عبارة عن integrated development environment فيها عدد من اللغات، فيها السي شارب، فيها السي بلس بلس، فيها هي عبارة عن environment جاهزة، تول جاهزة نحن بنستخدمها عشان نعمل فيها رايتنج للكود. ممكن نستخدم السي شارب، هنشوف الكلام ده later on. Okay. إذا Microsoft Visual Studio, also called Visual Studio.NET, includes several different programming languages. إذا دي programming language موجودة في الفيجوال ستوديو، زي الفيجوال بيزك، زي الفيجوال سي شارب، زي الفيجوال سي بلس بلس زي ما ذكرت، زي الفيجوال اف شارب، زي الجافا سكريبت، زي الويب ديفلوبمنت، الاي اس بي دوت نت. اوكي، this is a language موجودة وين اللانجوج دي في الفيجوال ستوديو بنستخدمه عشان نعمل رايتنج للكود او ديزاين. اوكي، يعني هي عباره عن باكج اوكي فيها كل اللانجويج. What is the benefit of using Visual Studio? Single tool، هي عباره عن single tool. اوكي، انت ممكن تستخدمها عشان تعمل رايتنج للسي شارب، للفيجوال بيزك، للفيجوال بيزك دوت نت. اوكي، محتاج بس single tool using different technologies. اوكي، دي كلها بلاتفورم يستخدم فيها الديس ويب ابلكيشن، يستخدم فيها الويندوز برزنتيشن 4، السيلفر لايت، دي كلها بلاتفورم او تكنولوجي موجوده وين inside the Visual Studio for different platform. Okay, full integration of most development activity فيها الكودينج، فيها التستنج، فيها الديفلوبمنت. very easy to use. اذا هي عباره عن سنجل تول. الفيجوال ستوديو هي عباره عن سنجل تول، يعني انا بستخدمها جاهزه عشان اعمل رايتنج للكود، بالاضافه لانها بتعمل انكلودد للماني لانجويج وفيها different technologies موجوده، different platform موجوده فيها different technologies موجوده، different platform like WPF الويندوز برزنتيشن 4 او like السيلفر، دي كلها platform مختلفه. some platform I use it to create web application and some platform I use it to create Windows application or desktop application. It is very easy to use. The example هنا للفيجوال ستوديو هتاخدوا in the lab. في اللاب هوريكم how to install the Visual Studio and how to use the Visual Studio. Okay, the example للفيجوال ستوديو. طيب Visual Studio how to compile, how to run, how to debug. زي ما قلنا البروجرامينج فيزز، البروجرامينج فيزز دي اللي قلنا في السبيسيفيكيشن، في الديزاين، في الامبلمنتيشن، في الديبلويمنت. اوكي، طيب دايما نشوف how to create new console application. اوكي، how to creating new console application. اوكي، كيف انا اعمل؟ هنستخدم في البدايه الكونسول ابلكيشنز، وهنستخدم بعد شويه الويندوز ابلكيشن، الويندوز ابلكيشن 4. لكن في البدايه هنعمل كريتيف بروجرام باي يوزنج كونسول ابلكيشنز. بنمشي في الستيب هنا انتوا هتاخدوها باي ذا جنرال، هتاخدوها في اللاب. لكن احنا ممكن نروح هنا تمشي للفايل، من الفايل بتمشي للنيو، بتمشي للبروجكت، بتمشي تشوز شيت في الكونسول ابلكيشن سي شارب كونسول ابلكيشن. هنا شايفين بنستخدم السي شارب كونسول ابلكيشن، بنستخدم تشوز بروجكت دايركتوري، تعمل له النيم، تديه النيم للبروجكت دايركتوري بتاعك. اوكي سو عشان معنا استخدم بالكونسول ابلكيشن. اوكي، طيب we need to create new console application. Creating new console application by using Visual Studio. Create some source code for you. عندنا حاجه هنا الكود في name space. اوكي، not required. النيم سبيس مهم. هنا تدي الكلاس نيم، بتغير الاسم بتاع الكلاس. some import are not required. هنا import some import هنا لللايبراريز ما مهم جدا. using system ما not required. النيم سبيس not required. لكن انت you can rename the class name. You can change the class name. After you write the code, you need to compile the source code. Okay? compile. what do you by the compile؟ بنعمل check السنتكس تحت البرنامج. اوكي، هي عباره عن compile. اوكي، translate of the source code to lower level language. اوكي، as you know compiling translate from the source code to lower level language. بنحول اللغه بتاعتنا because بنحولها translate to lower to be understood by the computer. as we know the computer just understand the lower level language 01. okay, so when we make a compiling, we translate, we converting the source code to lower level language. okay, we create executable file. okay, بنعمل create executable file to be understood by the computer. you can start compilation by using build solution project or press F6 or shift plus control plus P to make compilation. okay, all this something you can do in the lab, but I need here to know that you know compile, you need the check of syntax or convert the source code to lower level language. okay, after you compile, you need to run it. okay, to run the program by using F5. Press F5 to run the program, F6 to compile the program. okay, You can run application by using the box start menu. Okay, here we can run the application. Okay, debug the code, the process of debugging, checking the error, spotting an error. Okay, find the line of code that use the error. We call this the debugging. When you find the line that use the error, if some line makes the error, you need to show or to find this line. We call this debugging. Okay, debugging the code, testing to check if the error is gone and no error are introduced. Okay, we call this debugging. Either we have compiling, we have running, we have debugging. Okay, debugging in Visual Studio. If here some line make an error to your code, you make the debugging to this line. Okay. So after we complete this, we will need to speak about the step in developing application. What's the step to developing application? Okay. Now we focusing on Windows application. Okay. We focusing on Windows application. How to create the form of Windows application, not web application. Okay. So the first step, we creating the user interface. Create the user interface. You have 3 steps. The second step, assign a property to control. The third step, attach code to control. 3 steps in development application. If you need to develop any application, okay, first thing, you create the user interface. After you create the user interface, you assign a property. User interface included more control or object. The same. When we say controls or when we say object, has the same name. After you create your user interface, you assign property to this control. So after you assign the property to each control or to each object, you need to attach the code to the control. So the control has 2 things. Number 1, you assign a property. Number 2, you attach the code. Okay. So when we need to develop any application, you have 3 steps. Step number 1, creating the user interface. Step number 2, assign property to this control or to this object. Step number 3, attach the code to control. Okay? Attach the code to control. So there are 3 primary steps to building a visual application. Okay? Creating the user interface. Okay, the first step in building visual application is to create form. That will be the basic for your application interface. Graphical user interface. How to create the graphical user interface? Here I create the user interface. This user interface we have. Okay, here we call this control. Okay, we have close, we call it control. We have the text box, we call it the control. Here the first step is creating user interface. بتخلق الانترفيس اللي انت عاوز تتعامل معاه وبتجيب الكنترول اللي انت محتاج له. انت need هنا 2 button. Button number 1 make okay, button number 2 make close. Okay. The second step what? Assign property. Assign property to شنو يا جماعة؟ To this control. Assign property to this control. The next step, to set properties for the object. Object and control the same name. When we say object, why? Because visual programming language by C# is object programming language. Okay, so assign property to this object or this control. The property will provide an easy way to set property. Okay, for all object on form, we have here object. We have command button. We have command button. We have text. See, we have how many objects? We have 4 objects. In this form, we have 4 objects. The object number 1 is the form. Okay, the form. The object number 2 is this button. Okay, button. So object number 3 is this close button. The object number 4 is the text box. Here, we need to assign property to this object. Okay, so any object has the name and caption and font. Okay, the name you call it form 1. The name here with the caption example 1. Here we have the first button, the call is command, the caption here okay, the caption okay, the font okay. Here we have object number 3, command button 2, name, command 2, caption, close. Okay, here we assign the object. Okay, يعني أول خطوة بعملها هي إنه بقوم بعمل create user interface اللي أنا استخدمه. الخطوة الثانية إنه بشوف البروبرتي، عندي كم بروبرتي في الأوبجكت اللي أنا مستخدمها بعمل لها assign. الخطوة number 3 attach the code. عدل الكود كله control the code means where you write the code for your application. Okay, code consists of language, statement, constant and declaration. Okay, ده الكود. الكود بتاعي انا بعد عاوز اعمل execute. يعني انا عندي هنا button اسمه OK. When the user clicks OK here, I need something to be executed. OK, عندي button اسمه close. لما اليوزر يعمل close بيحصل exit للفورم ده. إذا الكود what's the code that I must write here? الكود شنو أنا بكتبه؟ إذا attach the code to any control or object. Number 1 we have 3 steps of the development programming share to student. Step number 1 is the creating user interface. Step number 2 is assign property to this control. Step number 3 is attach code. Okay, don't forget. Don't forget. Okay. Okay. This is the introduction to programming. Okay. Okay. Here we have exercise. I hope that you answer this question. Okay. Yeah. Familiarize yourself with what Microsoft Visual Studio mean. Find information about console.write method. Create, compile, and run Hello C# by using console application. I need you to create this program Hello C#. Modify the application to print your name. Okay. Write program to print number 1, 101, and 1000. Okay. Okay. Exercise number 1 and now exercise number 2 is install at home Microsoft framework, Microsoft Visual Studio. I need you to install Microsoft Visual Studio or Visual C#. Okay? We try this and create console applications that print your first and last name. Create console applications that prints the current date and time. The current date and time. Okay? Console application print the current date and time. Okay? Console application prints the current date and time. The console applications that calculate and print the square of this number. Okay? Print the square of this is 2 exercise. I need you to answer exercise number 1 and 2. Okay? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Exercise number 1 and 2. What we do by the Visual Studio, create and compile and run Hello C#. Okay. Okay. Modify application today. Okay. This is the last for this our lecture. Here in this lecture we cover 2 things. Number 1, we give the overview of this course. Okay, we give the overview of this course. We give the overview of this course. We introduce the course description and course objective, and we discuss the content of this course. And after the course overview, we are what mean by the computer programming, what we mean by the Visual Studio, what inside, what is the difference between FCL, what is the difference between FCL and CRR. Okay, and we show the programming phases. Okay. Okay. CLR, common language runtime for execute, and FCL, okay, frame class library. Okay, so this is the first introduction. We show that this is a visual programming language by using C#. Okay, the language that we will use in this course is the C#. The main thing that I need you to do, you will make a project by using C#. Try to think from now. أنا دايركم تفكروا في إنكم هتعملوا مشروع باستخدام الC#. مشروع كبير. ده المشروع هيكون فوقه مارك كبيرة، فيه درجات كبيرة جدا في نهاية الكورس. ده الهدف الأساسي بتاعي من الكورس ده، إنكم تعملوا في النهاية ديزاين لمشروع باستخدام الC#. Thank you. I will see you in the coming lectures.